Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot.
Hi everybody and welcome to today's Chinese pot lesson. My name is Joe.
大家好，我是庆林，欢迎来到中文播客。Joe，我们今天要学什么呢？
Today we are going to talk about the weekend. So we will give you some vocabulary to talk about what you can do on the weekend, and we will talk about some easy grammatical structures. Before we go into the dialogue, let's make sure you hear out the following words. We will talk about the word weekend, of course.
周末，周末，
Then we'll have the word for home.
家，家，
And we will have inside the home or inside my home.
家里，家里，
And although we are talking about the weekend, but we will hear the word dentist.
牙医，牙医，
And another interesting thing you will hear is the brand Häagen-Dazs. But we won't tell you now what this is in Chinese, so make sure you listen out for that one.
让我们来一起学习吧。
Okay, let's start.
你周末做什么？
在家里休息，你呢？
唉，看牙医。
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
你周末做什么？
在家里休息，你呢？
唉，看牙医。
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
你周末做什么？
在家里休息，你呢？
唉，看牙医。
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
So, did you hear how to pronounce Häagen-Dazs in Chinese? We'll break the dialogue down line by line now, so you can hear it again.
你周末做什么？
What will you do on the weekend?
你周末做什么？
What will you do on the weekend?
你周末做什么？在家里休息，你呢？
I'll rest at home. And you?
在家里休息，你呢？
I'll rest at home. And you?
在家里休息，你呢？哎，看牙医。
I'll see the dentist.
哎，看牙医。
I'll see the dentist.
哎，看牙医。那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
Well, then let's have Häagen-Dazs this evening.
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
Well, then let's have Häagen-Dazs this evening.
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
We often have people tell us things like,
I gave learning Mandarin a shot, but then I realized I really don't have enough time to commit to it.
folks who felt this way love Chinese Pod Recap. In as little as 90 seconds a day, you can refresh what you've learned so far while adding a bit of what's new to your daily learning. An innovative language learning tool to fit the busy, fast-paced lifestyle of today's professionals.
So our dialogue starts with the question, what are you going to do on the weekend? And how do we say, what will you do or what do you do in Chinese?
你做什么？
So the Chinese structure is very similar to the English actually because they're both like subject, verb, object languages. But even in questions, we stick to that structure in Chinese. So not as in English where we skip that around a little bit. So we have here the subject, which is you.
你
The verb, which is do.
做
And the object, which in this case is what.
什么？
And together that becomes
你做什么？
And then we had the word weekend.
周 末
Okay, let's check shortly where we put that in a sentence in Chinese. In Chinese, normally that goes in the front, right?
我们可以说周末你做什么？
Okay, so you just had it in the very front actually. 周末你
做什么？
So this is actually the same as in English, because in English you can put the time in the very front as well. But in Chinese you can either take it in the very front or, which is more common, after the subject. So after the you here in this case, after the 你. So what would be the whole question? What do you do on the weekend?
你周末做什么？
So first the subject, the time, the verb, and the what object. Can we exchange this a little bit? Like maybe do some other time information here instead of weekend. For example, what would be tomorrow?
明天，明天，
So I could say 你
你明天做什么？
Okay, what will you do tomorrow? What else can you think of? Do you have another word which we can put here?
我们可以说下周，
Oh yeah, next week. So the whole sentence would be
你下周做什么？
So what was the answer here?
在家里休息
Shoshi is, what does it mean?
，relax。
To relax. Okay, so you're relaxing at home. So this 在 here is very important. It's basically the preposition at, or to be in a place. Sometimes used as a verb as well, but we don't go into that right now. So we just focus on the prepositional part. So it means at and followed by a place. 在 and something.
在家里，
So what else could we say? Like at, where could we relax?
我们也可以说在学校里休息。
Oh, like to rest at school. Yeah, during like the break or something. So school, what was it?
学校，学校，
So it would become 在学。
在学校。
Okay, cool. Where else could we rest?
在公司里休息。
In the company? Why? No. Okay, maybe like during lunch break or something. Which actually that happens in China, that people do take naps during the lunch break. At least in Germany, as far as I can tell, people don't do that because nobody wants to see that in Germany. It's like a no-go. Okay, so 公司
公司，
and then at the company.
在公司里休息。
Okay, like to rest in the company. So the answer here was I am resting at home, but where is the 我?
我在这里就不需要了。
Okay, so I can leave it out. Well, for the next one, there was and you, 你呢? Could I just say 呢?
当然不可以，你可以说你呢？
Okay, so I only can say 你呢 here. Because you can actually sometimes leave out subjects in Chinese, especially when they are clear from the context. So when you're answering a question, I mean, it's clear that if somebody asks you and you or something, that you're talking about yourself, so you don't need to say that anymore. So if you say I am at home in English, that's the only choice, but in Chinese you can actually say am at home.
在家里。
And then there was this 你呢, which is and you. This 呢 is a question word, or sometimes we call it question particle. So you use that in the end of a question, especially when you want to make an alternative suggestion or when you want to throw back a question to somebody. So if somebody asks you something and you want to return the very same question, you can just end your question in 呢. In English, the best translation would probably be what about or how about. So 你呢 would be what about you. So what was the answer here?
哎，看牙医。
So even here without the 我. Okay, 看牙医 is to see the dentist. Okay, so how do we, like, what is 牙?
牙，我的牙。
Ah,
teeth
牙齿, right?
牙齿，牙医。
Okay, and 医 is for which word?
医生。
Oh, doctor. So it's like the teeth doctor.
我们可以说牙医，也可以说牙科医生。
Oh, 牙科医生。
没错，
So it would be like the dentistry doctor or something. Like 科 is something to say like a part or department of something.
牙医。
So you want to learn traditional or simplified characters?
Can I just learn to speak Chinese? I really don't want to write or read. It's too much for me.
Are you one of the learners that told us early on that you just want to speak and listen to Chinese and you think Chinese characters are way too complicated? Then I really think you should check out our new introduction into how to read and write Chinese characters. It focuses on simple characters that you encounter in a Chinese language environment every day. In 11 entertaining episodes, we set out to convince you that Chinese characters are actually quite easy, and we hope that you will soon share our excitement. Visit 88 characters on www.chinesepod.com/88 and give it a try. Or search for the first episodes on the Chinese Pod channel on YouTube. It's as simplified as that.
看牙医。
So this poor fellow has to go to see the dentist on the weekend. Ugh. And his friend then invites him to an ice cream and Haagen-Dazs. So now comes the time. How do we say Haagen-Dazs in Chinese?
哈根达斯，哈根达斯。
Okay, I'll try that once as well. Haagen-Dazs.
没错，
Okay, and he says that proposal or the suggestion here by using a word in the end. What's the small word in the end here?
吧。
Ba. So whenever you hear ba in the end of a sentence, it normally means that you're making a suggestion or a proposal. And it often comes together with na in the beginning. So it's like na, something, 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 ba.
比如说，那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
So it's na, well then let's have Haagen-Dazs tonight. Okay.
今晚，今晚。
So here the time information, similar to before, is more in the front. So 今晚. And note as well, there's no subject again, because we know that we're talking about us together going out to have Haagen-Dazs. So you don't need the we here in this case. Okay, and Haagen-Dazs is an ice cream, right? How do we say ice cream in Chinese?
冰淇淋，冰淇淋。
Okay, so could we say, well then let's have ice cream instead?
那今晚吃冰淇淋吧。
So same again, proposal, but this time with ice cream. I'm actually not sure whether this friend is like a good friend or a bad friend. Because I think, I don't know.
好朋友吧，
你觉得？
我觉得是好朋友。
Okay. Why? Why do you think it's a good friend? Like,
牙齿很痛啊。如果吃冰淇淋就会很开心。
okay, so if your teeth are like hurt or something, at least you'll be happy when you have ice cream. I would have looked at it from a little bit of other perspective, like if it's already broken, then maybe it hurts or something, but I can understand. So the intentions are there, I guess. So after going through all of this, let's go back to the dialogue again.
你周末做什么？
在家里休息。你呢？
唉，看牙医。
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
你周末做什么？
在家里休息。你呢？
唉，看牙医。
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
你周末做什么？
在家里休息。你呢？
唉，看牙医。
那今晚吃哈根达斯吧。
So today you learned how to say that you're at a certain place. So how do we say at in Chinese again?
在，
And can you give me an example?
我在公司休息。
Okay, to rest in or at the company. Okay, and we talked about two particles, so words that can be used in the end of a sentence or in the end of a question to indicate some things. So what were those two?
呢，吧，
Ne and ba. So ne is used to ask questions or to throw back a question to the sender, and ba is to make suggestions. So I really want to have some ice cream now. Ni ne?
好啊，走吧。
Okay, let's go. This is Joe.
我是庆林，
See you next time.
下次见，
Bye bye
拜。
Now, here's a vocabulary recap.
周末
Weekend.
休息，
To rest.
看牙医。
See the dentist.
今晚
This evening.
哈根达斯。
Häagen-Dazs.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number 4299. So just go to www.chinesepod.com/4299 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/4299.
Chinese Pod, Chinese Pod.